Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by BlackRifleCoffee.com.
Yes, we
Oh,
are.
yeah.
We are. We are
Are we?
speeding. Welcome to Drinkin' Bros.
Welcome.
This is our March Madness edition. We're having some of your favorite guests that you've written in over the years to come back to the show. Mr. Clayton Crawford was on that list numerous times. Star of Lethal Weapon and Lethal Weapon only. It's the only thing he's ever done. The other 50 movies did not count up until this point because they were independent.
Some were unwatchable.
Yeah, we talked about this last time, like, because that's all everybody says now is fucking Lethal Weapon, and it's like, hey, yeah, I've done like 50 other fucking movies.
Well, it just happened overnight.
Yeah. I mean, it was a boy with a dream.
Well,
and,
I gotta say, from my standpoint, I think Lethal Weapon is so big because everybody wanted to fucking hate it, and it's actually really good.
it's great.
I've watched both seasons that are on Netflix, or not Netflix, Vudu.
Yeah.
Watched both seasons. I wanted to hate it. I'm old enough that I grew up watching all the Lethal Weapons, and it is fucking good, man.
He loved
It
it, and
is.
so much
It
so,
is
in fact,
really fucking good.
we were doing a middle of a show, and we don't typically go back and listen to our own shows, but during the show, he was like, "Hey man, have you seen this show Lethal Weapon?"
Had no clue.
And he,
We
and
all
he didn't
started
know.
laughing.
And he didn't know. We started laughing. I was like, yeah, I've seen it. And he goes, man, it's fucking great. He goes, the guy that plays Riggs on that is so fucking good. And I was like, well, he's been on the show before.
No clue.
That's fucking awesome.
No
man.
clue.
Yeah.
No clue.
Yeah, because these guys are fucking harsh critics.
But I mean, that's how we are, right? I mean, I was the same way. I love the film so much. That's why I didn't want to be a part of it. So I think we went into it with that same mentality. It was just like, man, fuck, if we fuck this up, like we fuck it up for everybody, you know? And we felt like we had no business going into it. So I think living in that shadow was really good for us. And I think it pushed us all to do the best work we could possibly bring to the table.
So much so, like, your show worked so well that now, like, people at home don't know this, but like pilot season is going on out in LA. So you get to see what they're making. They're trying to reboot a bunch of classic movies, like trying to create the Lethal Weapon success on television with these other, like Magnum PI was casting so they're remaking Magnum PI at CBS,
I'm
and
like,
it's like
that one's like, come on, like it's
Yeah.
a blatant.
It's just so difficult. And I mean, again,
Attempt.
we got so lucky because if they would have made me audition for this, it would have never happened. You know, the fact that somehow someone saw something and they made me an offer, which never happens, right? You always have to struggle to try to get any job you get. So the fact that they put us together is just lightning. Me and Damon playing off one another.
It's
you know,
great.
It's just lightning in a
Yeah,
bottle, right?
it's
And I think
good.
it helps that D and I know funny, but the dude who took what I think is arguably one of the greatest scripts that Shane Black wrote, which was Lethal Weapon, the original script. I think it redefined how we saw cop drama and comedy, right? And buddy comedies, if that. So what Miller took when he took that pilot and kind of revamped it in a way, you know, kind of brought it up current. I think he and I have got such a singular vision on what we want the show to be. I think that really helps, having him in the writing room and then having me on set, and he allows me to kind of rework scenes on the day, and whether that be with dialogue or with working with the director, he allows that so that we kind of maintain that one vision throughout. Because I think that's what happens on network shows. Is you get 15 guys in the writing room, and you have the network and the studio and all these notes coming from executives who are just fearful of losing their job. So if they don't make a note, then they're not doing what they should do to kind of meet the status quo, which in turn it could be a note that's completely, you know,
bullshit.
It's something to
for lack of a
just
better
to say
word.
that was
Absolutely.
that was my idea.
Yeah.
I was the one that
well,
plugged
they
in
want
on
their
that.
finger, and that was the
And that-
fucking worst part about second season is they all wanted their fucking thumbprints on it. Because the first season they're just like, the chances of this succeeding are pretty slim to fucking none, right? So good luck, guys.
Yeah.
You know? And they just let us go, and by the time it caught on, we were fucking finished shooting the season. So yeah, when we came back, that was the biggest hurdle. Is they had notes, fucking write up character notes, and like how I should play Riggs, and maybe he should get a haircut, and maybe he should start wearing. It's like, are you fist fucking?
Yeah,
me?
we're already
now?
we're already season in now. We're
Now
past
you want to
that.
give notes? Like,
Yeah.
come on, guys.
We're past that as a group, and that happens all the time. And like I've said to you numerous times, it's executives at home who want to watch this with their friends or lovers or girlfriends or whoever the fuck, and be like, see that line? I did that. I
Yes,
did that.
that's it. That's the
it.
only reason they're putting any input in.
Yeah.
Not because, hey, what idea did you come up with that is a huge success? No.
No, yeah, it's just I did that. It's just that I did that mentality.
But see,
where it's
but
like,
the other problem is too, you have these directors that come in, and that's the other problem, right? You've got these, every single episode has to be someone new. And they spend the first 2 days just trying to get to know the cast and get over those personality hurdles, right? And then they spend the entire time shooting just for the executives. To really, like, why are we getting the shots? Like, well, they may want it. They may.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is they?
yeah.
Why don't we just make the best show possible and then just see what the fuck happens?
Yeah.
Which is what we did on the first one, and that's really tough. Because again, everyone just lives in fear.
Yeah, and you're directing an episode.
Yes.
But again, like directing before, like primetime drama, after the director, which was Mick G for the first one, once he creates this world, you're just coloring by numbers. You know what I mean? It's set. The DP knows the tone, the actors know the characters, and they're writing these scripts, and we've got this little procedure that we're following, right?
Right.
So to come in as the director, just don't fuck it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like help relax the actors, help them see it from different perspectives, and try not to, create a couple of shots that are going to maybe expedite your day, Yeah. Outside of that, you just get in there and just try to be cool with everyone and make your days go.
Is it the same DP for every episode?
No, we rotate.
Gotcha.
So basically they'll have a DP so that he can prep with whatever the director is prepping at the time, so they can tag scout and so forth.
Gotcha.
But those DPs, again, we just lost a DP because he's so fucking over the show. He's just like, I can't keep doing this same thing.
He's exhausted.
Exhausted.
Yeah.
22 episodes is just
It's
unheard
a grind.
of. It's a grind.
And a lot of people don't understand what a grind it is, because you see it at home and you're like, oh man, so-and-so is my favorite actor. He's on my favorite TV show. He must be having the greatest time of all time. And then you're like, oh, no, he's not. He's
Not so
working
much.
14 hours a day. That Saturday morning you get up, you're just trying to get some sleep.
I almost
for the first
canceled
time.
on you today, but because I love you, I was like, fuck it.
Well, we're glad you did.
Because I was just like, this morning as I finally peeled my ass out of bed at 10, and my wife's like, look, I ordered grits. And it's like, because you can't fucking buy grits in LA, right? So to get to wake up to grits and eggs and bacon, I'm like, fuck, I'm never going to make it to see Ross today.
Why can't you get grits in LA? I've
You
tried.
can't get biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
Tyler and Jack and I just ate, and it was like, what?
You were at
how
the
fuck
only
do you not-
diner right next door right here at the 101 that serves grits in this town.
Yeah, that's the only
That
place
is
I've
the
seen so
only
far.
place that we can find.
But no biscuits and gravy.
No,
No
This-
biscuits
nowhere.
and gravy.
This guy will sit down and have a home country meal every day. Biscuits, gravy, fucking eggs,
grits,
bacon,
ham.
bacon.
That's how you
Huge
start. That's how I
slice
want
of-
to
Yeah.
start my day,
Yes.
right? Yeah, I want to
You
be
grew
with
up-
my
you grew up
children
where
and
you-
my wife, and I want to eat a good meal, and then go do what I need to do.
You grew up where Alabama?
Alabama, right?
Yeah, so man, it is hard to find country food out here. Like really
I'm
good
lucky to
country
have a
food.
wife from Texas, and she enjoys cooking, so I'm very fortunate for that.
Yeah.
Lucky
Godspeed.
man.
Yeah, I want to get into a crazy story with you, by the way, that I was thinking about the other day.
Well, is this going to be Exhibit A?
Here
we go.
No, it's something. Somebody asked me in another. I did an interview on somebody else's podcast the other day, and they were like, and they always bring us up because we did a bunch of sketches together, a bunch of movies and all that stuff, and they were like, "Man, he seems like a fucking awesome dude. What was your craziest story with him?" And I was like, "Whew, there's a million." But there was one in particular where I've never laughed as hard as I did this night, and I wanted to tell you the story to see if you even remember it.
Okay, my eyes are watering just thinking of all the stories that we have.
Oh God,
It's so incriminating. I'm just so grateful there were no cell phones back then with all these.
we'd be fucked.
Oh my God,
We'd be fucked.
Yes.
I have moments with all this Me Too and all these things that are happening in the world, and you're just like, oh, have I ever been rude to it? Fuck, what have I done?
you start
and
going
I'm like,
back, and
fuck,
you're
is there
like,
anything
ugh.
on video? What have I done with my life? There's so many. So yes, let's go through a moment that I may or may not recall.
So we were shooting a movie with Tara Reid in like 2006, right?
We were.
And Tara's great, by the way. Like as far as working with her, super professional, was always on time.
100%.
Great. And the owner of this hotel, because we were staying there for a few weeks, was like, "Hey, I want you guys to come to this club. We're gonna give you free bottle service. Everything is gonna be amazing. Just need some pictures with Tara and all that other shit." And Tara was just like, "It's fine, awesome." And she's like, "Hey, do you want to come down to this club with us, and have the whole VIP, the whole bottle experience?" We're like, "Yeah, absolutely." We're shooting the movie. We get down there and we're in this roped off VIP area, and I see a guy in a wheelchair all the way across the club, and so he's like, he starts waving at Tara like as hard as he can, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" And he's mentally retarded, and he's got like big wheelchair. It's the big wheelchair. Like a lot of shit is fucked
A lot of support.
up. A lot of shit is fucked up. I don't know what happened, and he's like, "Tara, I love you. Can I come over there?" And she's like, yeah, you can come over, whatever. So you see him start to wheel across the club, across the dance floor. Like people are dancing. He's trying to get his wheelchair in and out of these
Trying
dancers.
to navigate the dancers.
And this music is blaring, and I'm watching this from across the club in slow motion, this guy, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. He gets through the dancers, he's in the wheelchair, finally wheels up to the booth, and it probably took him like 7 minutes total, right? And he's like, Tara, and she's like, oh my gosh, yeah. And she's like, I want you to come with me. And she's like, oh, you want a picture? You want a picture? And he's like, and so Tara walks around, leans over him. The two of us are in front of him, and she leans down. She's like, did you want a picture, honey? And he goes, no, I want you to suck my dick.
100%. 100%.
This guy, because I was
He
like,
actually said this.
Yes,
Yo, I went from
Promote
like
ahead of
feeling
peers.
so fucking angry that I was as drunk as I was that I could not help him navigate that fucking dance floor. I felt like such a bad human being. Like all of my Boy Scout skills had just fucking gone completely out the window, and I'm so guilty. And I'm sitting there holding this. And I'm just trying to make sure we can get a good photo for this fucking kid. And he's like, no, but you can get something like that. And I'm like, oh, God.
yes.
Promote ahead of peers.
Tara's face just forward.
Promote ahead of peers.
She turns around, she goes, no. And just turned around and went back in the booth. We're laughing to tears. I mean, tears, crying, laughing in the middle of this club. And so we're laughing so hard that I turned and apologized to her. And I was like, I'm really sorry. That was probably the funniest thing ever. 'Cause it looked like he was going to stand up out of the chair. And I was just like, so I looked at Tara and I go, hey, I'm really sorry for laughing or whatever. And she looks at us and she goes, it happens all the time. What?
Yep.
Yeah,
No.
she was totally used to it at that point in her life that somebody would cross a fucking river in a wheelchair to ask to get their dick sucked. I mean, it was fucking insanity. And that shoot was one of the funnest, by the way.
That was one of the best shoots we ever
Because
had.
we had conjoining rooms. And that we had fucked up. We trashed them.
Look, I remember on my birthday, you had this cake.
Yeah.
And it was like an ice cream cake, wasn't
I
it?
bought you an ice cream cake.
And
Yeah.
it was massive.
From
And then at one
Baskin
point, you're
Robbins.
just like slammed it down on the middle of the coffee table, right?
on the middle of the coffee table, and then I smashed it into the television.
And it stayed that way. But this happened. My birthday was really early on in the shooting process.
Yeah.
And we never allowed anyone to come in and clean the rooms.
No, we taped the
it
do
looked like
not
the
disturb
Who
sign to
had
the
been
door.
in there. Like they were on a fucking tour.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Smash the lamps. I mean, oh yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Just to do it at that point.
I had this 1970 Mustang, right? So we're driving out to where were we shooting in?
Simi Valley.
The steamy, right?
What the worst?
Nothing but Trans Ams and butt sex, man. So we're driving out to fucking the land of methamphetamines, right? And my fucking Mustang breaks down on the freeway. And we had to fucking get this fucking towed back. So I had no transportation. So we just lived on this film set and had like great actors coming and going at all times.
Yeah. So every day there was a different like huge celebrity, like Vinnie Jones and
This was that
The bowling thing.
yeah. 7 cent split. They changed it to strike.
Strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they like Vinnie Jones
I
would
own
show
it on DVD.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So-
You and my dad.
Yeah. And my mom. And my mom
I forgot
as well.
about your
My
mom.
I've watched it quite a few times.
Yeah. But
We
Ray
laughed a
Wise,
lot making it.
Ray Wise, Vinnie Jones. Every day was Vincent Pastore, Big Pussy was on that movie. Every
Big
day there was
Pussy?
somebody new, and they were like, I mean, it was fucking
The Human
chaos.
Jukebox, Johnny DiMaggio.
Oh yeah, Bender from Futurama.
Johnny
No
D.
shit.
Dude, he does every because having a 5-year-old and an 11-year-old, I have the broad spectrum of all cartoons, right?
Yeah.
He's on 100 different fucking shows, man.
Everything. He's loaded, and he's got a booth in his house.
I
He
want
said, I
Bender
don't-
to come on our show.
He says,
Yeah,
you should. He can do the voices he does, man.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I mean, it's incredible.
So he just records them at his house. He's got a studio.
Records it so he doesn't leave.
That's
He only leaves the
fucking
house to go eat sushi or
awesome.
go to the Palm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he would go to the Palm. I mean, they knew him by name in there because every time we would go, and his picture was up. So they put he went so many times. They put a robot. They put Bender on the wall inside the palm, and it was just like, fuck, man. I mean, when he walked in, we knew every waiter, bartender, all of that shit.
He's so talented.
Great.
Yeah.
So great. He
Wonderful
did
guy,
in the
too.
Wiffle Ball movie. He played Harry Carey, and he does a great Harry Carey as well. He does a bunch of impressions, and he was fantastic. But every day there was a different celebrity, and they would want to come party with us because we shot all nights. So we started at 11 p.m., shot till about 7 or 8 in the morning.
But then just went back to the hotel and just raged.
Yeah.
And because we had all these liquor sponsors, right?
Yes.
So we were just getting just shit canned and rewriting the material and like, working on stuff. And like,
Cases of liquor were sent to the hotel over and over again. And again, we didn't let anybody in. And it was disgusting. Everybody wanted to come party in the room and smash shit. So like we let them.
well, you walk in and you realize it's an environment in which you can just kind of blow off some steam.
Yeah. And like Simi Valley is set up like a meth town. So like, people were tweaking all night. There was a Little Caesars that was open at 7 a.m. So when we got off, we went to the Little Caesars every day and got pizzas for whoever came back and partied at the hotel. And like we had, I forget who, it wasn't Vinny. I think it might have been Big Pussy. We had him take a pizza and smash it against the wall. And like that lived there for a week. 8 days on that wall. Because when we got in, they were like in this
You have a friend nicknamed Big Pussy?
Yeah, well, he was
No,
Big Pussy on The Sopranos.
Sopranos, yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was when we got there, they were like, they kept telling us, they were like, this is the hotel that Ronald Reagan stayed in. And that was their big pitch to us. And we were like, oh.
The Gipper.
Yeah. So there was this Ronald Reagan suite that the director stayed in across the thing. And then we had our room. We were just like, well, here's to you, Ronald Reagan, you old son of a bitch.
And just so you know the caliber of individuals we were working with, they were like embezzling money and like had different kind of things going back and forth. So you walk into their rooms and they just had these giant things of vodka shoved with weed shoved all into it, infusing the vodka with tons of marijuana. And like it was just a party no matter what part of the hotel you were in.
Yeah, because there was every day there was a different like Saudi Arabian prince coming in like in a Lambo would show up to set, take one picture with Tara or whoever the celebrity was, and then leave. But I'm talking like wrapped up sheiks, like shit like that, where it was just like, I was like, Tara, who the fuck is that? He was like, I don't know.
Middle East money.
Prince of Saudi Arabia or something. Like, again, unfazed by all of it. And we were
but
just
in fairness, our attorneys, when we signed the deal, were like, you can't go make this film with these people.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we it's fine. These guys are great. They're like, no. There's so much shit surrounding these guys. Like, it'll be, and we're like, it's okay.
And the financer ended up ultimately getting blacklisted from town.
100%.
Yeah, because he like that movie was shot for $650 and it sold for $1.8 million. Yeah. And they made the money and then bounced, like they were gone. And then all the company got popped for fraud. Like I think that was the last movie.
Yeah.
And because they were financing everything in town, but you found out that they were financing it. They were trying to wash money through the Middle East. They were putting it in films simply for the fact that they wanted to come and hang out with celebrities.
Yeah.
And then
and
take
they had
photos.
rolled everything over to where essentially they had not paid everyone from the last project, so they would just kind of dump so they would start this whole new system without paying anyone. So they just kept rolling the money over, rolling over the roll.
Yeah, and they probably made 100 films before they got popped.
Easy, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they took everyone to the bank. Man.
And it was private jets, bars. They owned all the bars in town. So like,
but we didn't give a shit. We just got to make a movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're like, can we keep the film? They're like, oh, we don't care.
In the beauty of it, and like, because again, my reps told me the same thing. They were like, look, make sure you get paid. And I was like, all right, cool. And the money was okay, like $25,000 or something, like to act in it or whatever the fuck it was. And I said, hey, I called my agent the day before, and I was like, I haven't gotten paid. He's like, let me call him. And call the producer, the financier. He's like, hey, you got to pay Ross, or he's not going to come to set tomorrow or whatever. And they're like, no worry, we'll send somebody over today. At midnight, I get a knock on my door at the hotel, in my hotel, and it's like a supermodel, like some foreign supermodel. She's just holding a fucking manila envelope full of $25,000 in cash. Nice. And she was like, are you Ross? I was like, yeah, I'm Ross. She goes, hands me the money at midnight. I counted it, texted my agent, and he was like, well, it showed up. It's in cash, and looks like we'll be shooting tomorrow. And that was the deal. And like, for any filmmaker or anything out there, like, you do what you can to get the first movie made, because that it's not. You don't know until later, and you ran into this on a movie you directed too. You don't know until later That if the movie is good or bad, but you have to make the first one to gain that experience. Yeah. Like that one you shot with the guy from Rocky.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. It's naive to go into these processes thinking that you're gonna make Boys Don't Cry, in this film. Right?
Exactly.
You have to make these films just to understand the whole process of it. And yeah, I mean, I worked with this guy, but this was a project.
But was it Burt Young?
It was Burt Young. Look, I had just finished shooting. We finished shooting Barnes Brothers in New York. My son was born. I'd shot that film with Sean up there. Mm-hmm. So I'd been gone, and I'd missed the birth of my middle boy. So I get in, right? And this guy calls me up. He's like, hey, I want to go make this film. And I'm like, man, I can't go to St. Louis to make this film with you. And he's like, well, can you just fly out and help us work on the script and just like look at the material? So I get out there, and I'm talking to this guy, and I go, so what do you want to do with this film? He goes, I just want to make a movie really bad. And I'm go, great. Well, what's your experience? He's like, I don't really have any. I inherited a bunch of money, though. And I was like, have you ever been on a film set? He's like, no. But yeah, you guys have fun, man. Good luck with the movie. I'm going back to L.A., and they were like, well, would you direct it? And I was like, fuck. Yeah. But they end up giving me, it's Eric Roberts, Burt Young, Eddie Furlong. So I get like the misfits of Hollywood all out there in St. Louis trying to make this film. And it was a disaster. But I learned, what I learned was.
But you learned so much,
100%.
Because I remember you came over to my house and you were like, "Yo, man, they offered me to do this movie, but the script is terrible, and but I want to direct, and it's something, And I was like, dude, direct the fucking movie. You'll gain so much experience, and then going forward, you'll be able to use all the fucking experience.
Which is the most valuable lesson I learned. Which is if you don't have the proper blueprints, which is your script going in.
Yeah.
You're gonna the house is gonna fall down, right? You're gonna get in the edit, and it's not there. So regardless of how you think you've designed the scene, or whether you've choreographed it in a beautiful way, or you've even tweaked a couple of lines, if the script's not there, you just don't have a film.
No.
Yeah.
No, and a lot of people don't realize that, and like writers,
there's a lot of studios that don't realize that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's something you worked on that you thought should have did better than it did?
I think Love Song for Bobby Long was such a, and I had a very small role in that film.
Travolta.
Yeah, Travolta and Scarlett
We
Johansson.
talked about Travolta on the show before. Open mouth kisses.
Always. And wet.
Men, he'll just come up and give you an open mouth kiss on the mouth and wet.
I mean,
It's
look,
wet.
he is the sweetest guy. I get out of the van my first day on set, and I'm on the phone with my mother. We're shooting down in New Orleans, and it's my mom's birthday. It's in the middle of June, and Travolta's getting into the van, and I see him, and I'm like, and I'm trying to talk to my mom, and he comes up to me, and he's like, and I was like, it's my mom's birthday. Just 1 second. He's like, so I hand him the phone, right, and he takes the phone, and he's like, what's your mother's name? I was like, Faith Crawford. He's like, hello, Faith. Happy birthday. This is John Travolta. I'm so excited to be working with your son. Blah, 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 blah. Hands me the phone back. Sweetest guy in the world, but then I get an open mouth wet kiss.
And there was no Me Too moment. You move on with your fucking day and move on with your life.
Look, there's uncomfortable moments, right? There's bad dates. There's rape. Right?
Yeah.
And then, I had a lady the other day tell me, who's one of our transpo, and she goes, Clayne, I'm 55, and if men stop whistling at me and asking if they can fuck me, I'm going to be really pissed off.
Yeah.
She's like, that's fucking flirting.
Yeah.
She's like, if you can't flirt with me, then what the fuck are we doing?
I know.
She goes, I'm not on Tinder or social media.
Yeah.
She goes, you can say I want to fuck you, and I can say, well, get the fuck out of here. I'm driving. She goes, and I go about my fucking day. I go to Chick-fil-A,
It's true, man. Steve Howie was here last night.
Oh God, it was so good.
Steve Howie was just like, yo, man, I've been kissed in elevators. I've had my dick grabbed. And he's like, it's flattering. I was like, same, man. Somebody grab my dick. That's it. A gay guy was like, it's flattering. What the fuck do I care?
That's it. You come to L.A. and you realize, like, oh, this is what women go through.
Yeah.
Right? You go to West Hollywood. You hang out in a couple of places. You stay in bars too long.
Yeah.
Right? And you're going to end up in a
Let's
situation.
start the new hashtag When's Me. when are you going to do it to me?
When's me?
Yeah.
Because-
When's
yeah,
me?
yeah.
I want to be treated equally.
And
My
I
dick's been grabbed.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it to be grabbed by him.
No.
But I shook it off.
Hashtag when's me?
When's me?
When's me? When's my turn?
When's it my turn?
When's my turn?
I want to
Yeah.
have the choice.
Yeah. My time hasn't started.
I know.
You can take your times up, but my time hasn't started.
I want the choice.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you seen the statue of Harvey Weinstein they put up?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
That
God.
thing, not
Yesterday.
fantastic. There was a lot of effort put into that.
Oh,
A
tons.
lot.
And they removed it because of the rain last night. They're putting it up today. We got to get a picture down there of that.
Gotta get a picture on that. What is it made? Is that plaster that they've made that thing out of?
I don't know. The guy
a
he
large
did it
mold.
last year with he melted
He did it.
he melted 2 Oscars in a statue doing cocaine off the sidewalk. So like he does one piece like that every year that sums up the Oscars. Yeah. So last year it was 2 Oscars bent over doing cocaine.
That's so
giant
funny.
lines of cocaine together. And
What's
that
the artist's name?
I don't know. But there's also a guy who replaces all the bus stop signs before award shows with like super like Seth Meyers hosted the Golden Globes. So it was a picture. It was the real picture of Seth Meyers, a Golden Globes ad, but he switched the words out and put it up in all the bus stops, and it said, "We all knew." And I was just like, oh, man. So he'll go around the city and do real fucked up shit like this. But the day before the awards. And it always gets massive press, and it's great. And you wait for it every year of like, all right,
what
what
is this thing that we all knew? I love that it's... we're all familiar with Woody Allen, right?
Yes. And nobody's...
Like, we're all familiar with everyone saying Roman Polanski deserves another chance,
Yeah,
right? That was
yeah.
a big fucking movement in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So what is this that all of a sudden everybody's been fucking blind to any man in any form of power? You let him do what the fuck he's gonna do.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that we should excuse that by any means, but I'm saying it's been going on since the fucking beginning of time.
Yeah.
So everybody's freaking out. Like, yes, but it's not. It didn't
The
start last
president in
week.
the early 90s?
Fucking
Yeah.
Trump said I can grab her pussy, and
Yeah.
then they voted for it.
Yeah.
What are we fucking doing?
Why do we...
Bush can't get a job.
No,
right?
no.
That kid, fucking whatever's his name from E, can't get a fucking job.
Billy Bush,
Billy
yeah,
Bush,
yeah.
right? We vote this motherfucker into president.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. On that tape, Billy Bush comes off like the bad guy to me just for laughing as hard as he laughs. Like laughing at all Trump's shit where you're just like,
he's just sucking Trump's dick.
I
you
know.
Just wanted to
I
be
know.
cool with Trump.
just wanted to, it was like,
So
it was
maybe
a
he's penalized for being
fraternity
a bitch.
moment.
He
Yeah.
really got penalized for being a bitch. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Everybody just saw him and was like, oh, you're just a bitch, dude.
Because I think if you come out,
You didn't think it was that fucking
yeah.
Just a bitch.
I think if you
Get
come
outta
out
here.
though and just say, "Hey, this is this is who we are. This is how I talk and everything," nobody would give a shit. Like, great, fucking like Louis C.K. came out. He didn't. He apologized, but he said, "Look, yeah, I jacked off in front of all these women. I did it." And it's like, all right, cool, fuck it.
But again, I've got to go back, and I'm not excusing this horrible. I have a daughter, right? I have a wife and a mother and a grandmother that I love. But in that situation, those women said, and when he came all over himself, like, how long did you sit there and watch him jerk
that's
off?
what
Yeah.
gets me. It's like
Get if somebody
why-
said you pull your dick out right now, I'm like, Ross, I gotta go.
I
gotta go.
Check,
I
please.
gotta.
I gotta go.
I got a thing.
It's Saturday. I'm not watching you jerk off. Like, get out of here.
Or the other one
Basketball's on.
is going into a hotel room with somebody, and when they ask you to massage them or something, same thing. It's like, I'm out. See
I'm
ya.
out.
I'm gone. Yeah,
Gotta go.
yeah,
And also, get your fucking spidey senses up.
yeah,
Right? Where are we going?
yeah. Where
It's
the
3 o'clock.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do when we get there?
Yeah.
Is it just you and I? Are you gonna want to have another drink?
Is it
Like,
in
let's
your
ask
room?
these fucking questions right now.
Yeah.
Because if you think we're fucking playing Parcheesi, we're not.
Yeah.
I'm looking to fuck at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock.
If I've been drinking,
Yeah.
but yo, I don't want to fucking lose my job. So say you don't wanna.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking grateful I'm married.
Yeah.
I couldn't fucking tiptoe around these days. I wouldn't know what the fuck.
No. And it would be hard because it's just like, a lot of this shit like the Aziz Ansari and thing, it was bad sex. It's a bad date. Like,
That's a rough date.
yes, that's all that is. That's not like aggressive. He didn't rape the girl, anything like that. When I read shit like this, I was like, God damn, I've had a million of those.
Well, I've had so many girls like, look, I'll suck your dick, but I don't want to fuck. Right? I can remember those times. I'm like in my 20s,
Yeah.
I'm like, is this shit like, that's just a bad fucking. She just changed her mind. I was like, I don't want to fuck.
Yeah.
La, 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 la. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me get an Uber.
Good to see you. Good to see you. You're calling the Uber, right? Yeah. It's $6.81. But it's a pool. It's an Uber pool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you drive with like.
I just feel like those moments where we had all had way too much to drink and we all made a lot of poor decisions. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But
yeah. And those were the fun. Those were the good old times.
Poor and heavy
I
decisions.
think as a father, I don't want those. I feel like it's so cloudy right now, and I feel like with having a spike like this, we've made these great moves, but we've only traveled this short distance and nothing's really been accomplished. And I fear for my daughter being in the workplace, and it's like me too again, you know, and someone abusing her, truly abusing her, and preventing her from moving forward in her job because she's not willing to do certain things. I just want I want the lines to be drawn so that we know what's what. You know, it's such a mess right now.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like trying to have a fucking conversation about it. It's like that Saturday Night Live sketch. Did you guys see that that was on 2 weeks ago?
Oh yeah. Where they're tiptoeing around with disease, where it's just like, oh, how do we talk about this? What's it like on set these days? Has it changed?
Look, there's so many. You know how it is on film sets. For a female to work in a very male-driven environment, you know, which is kind of like a construction site. You know, it's guys who are moving big pieces of equipment, who are setting posts and putting lights, and I think that's why is mostly men, because of how physically intensive it was over the years. But certainly there's a lot of females who pull their weight and are badasses on our set. But I think you kind of have to have a certain amount of to fucking get through life. You just got to get it, right? So I think we try to make fun of it, you know. We have moments, because, I mean, look, I'm the first guy to slap everybody on the ass, you know, but I grew up in a fucking locker room.
Yeah.
I grew up where if you weren't doing something right, somebody gets in your fucking face and gets loud about it, right? And if you do a good job, you get grabbed ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
My big cousins beat the piss out of me because they loved me, you know what I mean? And like I came up with from that mentality, and I think a lot of our crew's in that same kind of vein. So it's a good environment for us.
That's good. That's good that it
some
hasn't changed.
Some sets are rough, man.
Yeah, and look, I'm with a big agency, and like I remember going to have my first meeting after all the Me Too shit happened in there, and me personally, I saw the way it changed. I was talking about with somebody else, like you go into these agencies or these meetings with executives. They used to hire just hot ass assistants. They're super flirty when you come in. Do you need anything? Great to see you. Oh my God, this is great. Whatever. That vibe is now gone. It's more very clean and cold and calculated, like a doctor's visit of like, oh, Mr. Patterson, Mr. So-and-so will be with you. Would you like some water? And it was just like, back in the old days, it was like, oh, hey, how are you? Yeah.
It's like we're in fucking Gattaca.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we're in a movie from the future.
Yeah.
You know?
Very cold and calculated, and it's just like, oh, all right, cool. That's right. The Me Too thing happened. And
But it's like you said with the females, like Shannon Sharp, you know, he's like, if a female walks into my office, man, I'm going to put a trash can in the door. Don't let the door shut. You know?
Yeah,
You don't want to be alone with a female.
Yeah, it's weird.
You don't want to be in that situation.
It's weird. I want to bring up a story that not a lot of people know. You did a Weinstein movie in Australia, The Great Raid. Your favorite movie ever to work on.
The Great Charade.
But you had, because it was $100 million. What was a World War II movie with James Franco?
Which in 2001, 2002, 2003, I think is when I made the film. That's a lot of money to spend on a film back then.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That was like beginning Independence Day. Like,
Oh
It was
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of money.
A lot of
And
money.
it was a war. And it was like James Franco, Benjamin Bratt, Sam Worthington. You know.
And if that fails, I mean, people lose their jobs. It's that type of big movie, you know. Would you be willing to tell the kangaroo story?
Oh yeah. I mean, look, I think it goes to I just you know I did a walk through because I had early success in this business and.
Walk to Remember, Swim Fan.
Right
Those were
away.
big movies.
oh
Like,
damn!
yeah.
Walk
I
to
did-
Remember?
Yeah.
Like I did,
Josh Hartnett.
No, it was Shane
no,
West.
Shane
Oh, yeah.
West, yeah.
So I did. It was one of those Nicholas Sparks movies, right? So when I got out here, it happened. I started booking stuff pretty quick, and I got into the game before I really knew what the game was about. Because I'm from Bama, right? And I'm blue collar, right? No one knew. I might as well say I was going to be a fucking astronaut. You know what I mean? I was going to be the first dude to Mars. So I didn't have any guidance really. So I got out here and I got into the business, and I just thought it was like fairy tales of just making good movies and trying to be a great actor. So I hit Walk to Remember. While I was shooting a Walk to Remember, I booked Swim Fan. Literally shooting in Wilmington, I get the call that I'm going straight to New York after that. So just like this ride started to happen, right? And then I get back to LA for like 2 weeks, and like you're going to Australia to go work with John Dahl. And it's like Joseph Fiennes and all these great actors, you know. And
Franco, yeah, James Franco. Yeah.
I mean, Connie Nielsen, you know, tons of great actors, and Logan Marshall Green. And so we go to Australia and we get there, right? And we get the script, and it's right before we go to boot camp for like 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, my character, because I was trying to decide between Cold Mountain and The Great Raid. And John Dahl called me on my cell phone when I was in Alabama at my farm. I was just like, I'd really love if you come do this movie, yada yada. And I thought Rounders was such a great fucking film. I'm like, I got to go work with this cat, right? So I get there and I get the script, and like my character's almost been cut out of the film. There's probably 40 pages has been cut out of this thing. It's just really been condensed. And I'm like, holy shit, I call my agents. I'm like, I'm not in this thing anymore. I got to get out of Australia. I can't be here for 6 months making a movie that I'm not going to be in. I'll just be, my mom won't be able to recognize me. Military, right? So we all look the same, World War II. So they're like, look, just go to boot camp. We'll figure it out, right? So I go to this thing for 2 weeks. I get out. And I was not happy. So I was fighting with all the Australians and everything, yada, yada, yada. So it was a bad fucking scene, man. I was sneaking out of boot camp and hitchhiking into town with Max Martini, the other actor that was on. Right?
Yeah. They know Max.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Max would be with you.
100%. So we had to sleep in these fucking World War II tents, right? That World War II tents. It was like 2 posts and a drape.
Who was
right?
running that boot camp?
Dale Dye.
That's
Captain
exactly.
Dale
that was
Dye. Wakey, wakey, hand off, snaky. So we're out there in this fucking hellhole of Australia, in the middle of nowhere, right? So we're sneaking out and we're finding booze and we find this bar and we're able to eat burgers because they give us fucking rations. Like we have these things we have to cook and it's
Because Dale is Dale. Like
Dale is Dale and he wanted us to fucking be in it and we were in it and I kept trying to tell him that I was an actor. You know what I mean? And a week of this and I was like, I grew up in Bama, bud. I can operate a carbine, right? And so we go through this process, but during this thing, because it's 2 weeks, we've got over 150 extras that are going to make this raid, which was the greatest extraction in military history, which was on Cabanatuan, right? So, which linked to the March on Cabanatuan. So we've got to train every day with these guys. So we become a family, right? We all really kind of figure this out. So we get back, and the Weinsteins kind of, the company and all these producers, Marty Katz, this cocksucker, gets me in a room, and he's like, so you don't want to be in this fucking movie? I go, fuck no, I don't want to be in your movie. You know what I mean? I said, I'm not in it. So I don't want to fucking be here for 6 months if I'm not in your thing. And he's like, well, Harvey's going to put out a fucking thing tomorrow in the Variety saying that Clayne Crawford is difficult to work with and you'll never work again in this fucking business.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm 23 at this point. I'm like, man, I just got started. I was like, I'm just not in the movie, Marty. I went through your fucking boot camp. I can't do this every day. If I'm not in this film, I've got other offers. I do want a career in this, right? Trying to talk to him is being a man. I'm a dumb kid. I really don't know what I'm doing. And he goes, the press release will go out tomorrow, plus the amount of money you cost us to set back production to find another actor. I was like, fuck it. So I go through it, and it was hell, right? So about a month into shooting, we're leaving these rice fields where we've been shooting this film, or the sugarcane fields, and we've all loaded up. It's been a long day. And the extras have to drive themselves in, but the actors get bussed in from these condos in Surfers Paradise outside of Brisbane in Australia. So we load up in a van, and a lot of the extras are leaving. And this guy, Woody, he jumps on his motorcycle and takes off, right? We all say bye to Woody because Woody's just a good dude, And we're following behind him, and a kangaroo, so right, traffic goes this way, right? So it's opposite in Australia. So a kangaroo comes out of the ditch and jumps in front of Woody. Woody hits the kangaroo, and it pitches his body off the bike at his ass over his head.
Oh, shit.
So as he's coming up over him, another vehicle coming at, it was like if we had set it up and choreographed it for 2 weeks, we couldn't have got it on the first take, right? He's up in the air, and the other vehicle hits him and knocks his head off his body. And throws his body
Clean off his body,
yeah. Probably 50 yards ahead of to the backside of that vehicle, and the kangaroo's over on the side of the road. Fucking Woody's head goes behind the kangaroo. The kangaroo's like kicking, and Woody's head's behind this thing, and I'm 23 years old, so and Max is in the car, and Mark Consuelos, Kelly Ripa's husband. And we all jump out of this car, and we're just, kind of fucking shocked for a second. And we've been seeing, we're also desensitized. This was right after 9/11, and I really think that changed us as a country and how we perceive violence and how we perceive. I think it was difficult for us to separate. We'd seen all these. Armageddon had come out just recently, and
right.
and so you're watching this. And Max is, has the wherewithal to take off his jacket and go cover up Woody's head, and the kangaroo stops kicking, and about that time a fucking busload of 19-year-old Australian kids, pulls up, and it's all of our extras, right, who are posing as World War II vets or soldiers, and of course kids are throwing up and crying, and it turns into this, a big scene, right? So we go back to the hotel and we all just get slammed and, you know, smoke a lot of grass and just try to, you know, find a calm, right, a normal. Not that anybody was freaking out. It just throws your guts off whack, you know, right? So the next day we wake up and we get a call that we're going to go to Woody's funeral, all of us in our fatigues, right, in our gear, in our actual wardrobe.
Yeah.
So they're going to bus us to wardrobe because their intention is for us not to lose the military mentality and for us not to get out of character so that we can make this film for them. So they didn't want us to separate Woody from the battalion. So they wanted us to go and have a military funeral for him.
How fucked is this? And the studio did this.
This is coming straight from fucking Warner Brothers, right?
Wow.
So my middle finger had already been halfway cranked at this, you know?
And you got a lot of veterans in your family.
I got a lot of vets in my family, right? I'm from I'm the target where I come from is the target demographic where you go pick the U.S. military, right? There's not a lot of opportunities where I come from, and everybody's looking to better their lives. And these guys come in their badass uniforms and they look great, and we want to go do that, you know. And most of the men in my family have served proudly. So to kind of disgrace it like this, you know, to make a fucking movie. And Woody had actually served, you know, and most of our extras had served in the military. And it was such a fucking kick in the junk, you know. And of course Max and myself and Mark and a few of us were just like, "Go fuck yourself," you know. And we obviously didn't go, and we did our own thing for Woody.
But that's to this day, that is the craziest story I've ever heard, where it was just like Hollywood thought it was appropriate. Like, hey, yeah, give him a military.
Harvey Weinstein is this whole thing with him, you know, it's I think we need to realize that a lot of men in power, not all men in power by any means, but some, especially in this Hollywood circle, are just bad fucking human beings that are so insecure, they bully everyone into doing whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
And if you don't do what they want, they threaten the very thing you've left your family for. Like, all of us are from somewhere else, and most of us from some small towns where we've always wanted to be a performer, and we've come out here with this big dream. We've put everything on the line, and they use that to their advantage. And they kind of they dangle this carrot, you know. And I hope that this movement, if nothing else, just sheds light on corporate America and the studio system and how it's ran, you know, because it's just really poorly, and it's never is it done with love or tact.
Yeah, and Sunday tomorrow's Oscars, they're supposed to address it like a Time's Up thing, and it's just like, oh yeah.
That's
They're doing
interesting.
The whole thing is because you have Ryan Seacrest doing the red carpet. Stars are trying to debate now whether they're going to talk to him because he was one of the accused, which I've met Seacrest a few times. I think he's asexual. Like, he's not for men or I couldn't tell you if he was for guys or girls. It's
tough to defend. You don't want to defend anyone. You don't want to get involved in this stuff. But I know I'd met Mr. Weinstein, and he was a fucking scumbag.
Same.
Right?
Same, yeah.
I've met Ryan, and, you know, he just seems like a really great dude. But I've also met fucking Masterson, and he seems like a great dude.
Yeah, we played
and
softball with
this motherfucker
Danny Masterson.
Can't
Yeah.
keep getting accused by people.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's great. Yeah.
fuck, man.
Yeah.
You know? It's, I don't know.
It's fucking chaos. Let me ask you this. We've been asking some of our guests this. Who's somebody you would want to play in a biopic?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
Because we've had this question with a lot of actors who've rolled through. Mine's Ric Flair, obviously.
Oh, fuck.
I really want to write a fucking Ric Flair's. I read his book. I really want to write his shit and then play Ric Flair. We've been trying to get him on the show. He's gone up and down through some health things, but
You know, I mean, look, if they ever did something like Eddie Vedder, you know.
Ah, shit, that's a good one. Yeah. Remember when we saw that Pearl Jam show?
Fuck, do I remember?
Craziest that thing ever. So Pearl Jam plays out here on a Sunday night.
That was at the Forum, wasn't
Forum,
it?
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Forum. And I got tickets, and I was like, yo, I could just get tickets to Pearl Jam. Let's fucking go. We get these great seats. We go to see Pearl Jam. He's on stage, and they end up going for like 4.5 hours.
I know he said at one point he tore whatever signage that was down that was behind him. That was some kind of advertisement.
Advertising,
Said,
yeah.
That's not what the fuck this is. You know, they ripped.
Yeah.
We're gonna sing all night. And but the best time we saw Vedder was at the Wiltern when it was just
boy.
him on that big rug, and he did the Into the Wild album.
Yeah, just the End of the Wild
And
album.
he had some lady in a lab coat that kept bringing him different guitars.
Yeah.
Just present them and then take his,
He's incredible. But at that Forum show, he gets up, he tears down the advertisements, and he's hammered. He drinks red wine, but straight out of a bottle. That's his jam.
On
right?
stage.
On stage. Good red wine. Like, it's expensive. And it's Sunday night at the Forum, and everybody in LA is a fucking pussy. It's like people are starting to leave because they're like, oh, I got to work in the morning. This is crazy. This has gone on too long. Jeremy's fucking today. So he goes. He's looking out. He's foggy. He's got red wine, and they've stopped serving at this point. Stopped serving at this point, and he's tired of squinting. And he goes, "I'm tired of fucking squinting. Turn on the lights.
Yeah.
Turn on the lights. All the lights." And it's like the people are looking around. And he's like, "I want all the lights on in this place," which they never do during a concert. And yeah. All the lights come on, so it's as bright as it is in here, and you can see everybody next to you, which is kind of uncomfortable, where you're just like, oh, okay. Because you can see people hiding joints or whatever the fuck they're doing.
And your buzz is starting to come down because they've stopped serving.
Yeah. So
like last call.
And half the crowd is left because the show's going on for so long at this point. We didn't, and he goes, everybody starts to come closer to the stage. Let's forget about where we're sitting tonight. And I was like, all right. So everybody kind of presses up, and he goes, what do they stop serving? They fucking stop serving around here? And I go, looks like I'm serving. I'm your fucking bartender. So he goes out in the crowd with these bottles of red wine, starts filling up people's cups, and he goes, let's just take requests for the rest of the night. Let's just take fucking requests.
Hey, you're
This
here with
fucking
him?
happened.
Yeah.
100%.
So we're sitting there and we're like, all right, cool. But people are shouting out like The Who, And it was just like, so he starts playing The Who. Somebody screams out Star Spangled Banner. Somebody plays the Star Spangled Banner. This goes on for 4.5 hours.
He did a
That's
rendition
badass.
of Daughter that was like fucking 7 minutes.
Yeah. And with all the lights on. So like you could see him, you could see how much he was
I want
sweating.
you to see your brothers and your sisters out there tonight.
Yeah.
Put a hand on some I heard on her.
There is nights like that in LA that you have where you're like, holy shit.
Tell the time that we were in that fucking, what was the bar when Prince just got up on fucking stage?
Oh, we've heard this.
Oh yeah. I've dropped that Prince story where he came in at a Green Bar,
Dude, we were
or the Green
backstage.
Door. Yeah.
Someone got us into
Dave Matthews.
Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
And Julie Roberts was walking around backstage, fucking handing out drinks,
Serving shots. Yeah.
just walking around.
And you were like, there is great Hollywood nights. Like you had this
Some moments that if I called my buddies in Bama, I was
what
like,
the
man,
fuck?
you know where I was at? I was at Dave Matthews tonight. And by God, pretty woman walked by with a damn tray, and they're like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, there's no way that happened.
Alabama man.
Yeah, so he's got the same agent as Dave Matthews. We're huge fans. We get backstage tickets. We go backstage. Everybody famous and their mother is there. But like hair down, not giving a fuck. And I was like, man, what else could possibly happen? And I turn, and I was the one who ran directly into Julia Roberts. She's got a whole full tray of shots. And
She's
she was
walking
like,
around with
We're
trays.
shot-
Walking
yeah,
around,
and I was like-
she took them from the front and was walking around serving.
yeah.
That's
And
badass.
so I turned
Badass.
and I ran into her and I go, oh my God, I'm sorry, Julia Roberts. Like I knew her.
I'm sorry, Julia Roberts.
She goes, oh, it's fine. But you're having shots, right? And I was like, oh yeah. Of course I know. So I give shots to him. We're doing shots, and I was like, yo, did Julia Roberts just give us fucking shots? Like, this is incredible.
This is incredible.
This is incredible.
We can barely pay our rent, but this was incredible.
This is incredible, yeah. So, and we really wanted to meet Dave because he was a cool guy. We were a fan and all that shit, and we didn't. So, we're there backstage for like 2 hours partying with everybody, and it was a fucking blast. So we're walking out, and you were like, man, this is one of the greatest nights ever. I was like, yeah, I just wish we could have met Dave. So we walk by, and he's just sitting by himself on the steps of his tour bus, and I was like, oh fuck, there's Dave. Let's
Were we
go.
at the Greek? Was that at the Greek?
No, it was at a Hollywood Bowl.
Was this like in the Dave Matthews heyday? Like Dave Matthews?
Yeah,
This was got it. I mean, this was 2004, maybe.
Yeah.
2005.
Yeah. So it was just
so
like
it was for Dave to be playing the bowl his last night. It was one of those and he had his kids up on stage. Like it was,
Yep.
everybody was there, families, and that
families, all that stuff. And then we went back and talked to him, and your agent had sent him Barnes Brothers, the first one, and he had seen it.
right,
And he was like a massive fan and just talked to us for like 45 minutes.
That's
On the steps of his tour bus, and we were like, holy shit, this is amazing. And that fucking nerdy kid from American Pie, who was the pie fucker.
Sherman? Oh no,
I forget what his name was in real life, but
What's his name?
he
Stifler?
No,
no,
the
no,
main
the guy
character.
who actually fucked the pie.
Yeah.
Whatever. I forget what his name was, but he rolled up and was just like, "Hey, Dave, I'd love to talk to you." And he was just like, "Just get the fuck out of here." The Barnes brothers was genius. Like, I just wanted to, and he just shoved this guy out of the way. So it was just the three of us who chatted forever. And like, there is, as much as we bitch about Hollywood, there is those magic nights where you're just like, fuck. They're rare, but they pop up, and you're
I'm
like,
trying to
God
get Dave
damn
to
it.
come do an episode of Lethal.
Oh, really?
Because he wants to be a fucking actor so bad.
Yeah, he
right?
does. Yeah, because he was in a bunch of independent movies
He
for
was
a while.
great in Winn-Dixie, you know.
He was awesome in that.
really good in that film.
To get him to pop up in that, it would be fucking
That'd
fantastic.
be fantastic, yeah.
Just fucking fantastic. Who's one of your favorites that you've worked with that's kind of unknown to people?
I don't know if he's unknown, but Andre Braugher is probably, as far as, from
He's on
Homicide
Brooklyn
and-
Nine-Nine. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine now. He's I did Thief with him years ago. But
Which
also-
Thief was great on FX.
Dude, it was Cliff Collins and Yancey Arias and Malik Yoba. Like, it was just such a great cast, you know what I mean? And Andre was just wonderful. He just kind of he took me under his wing in a lot of ways and just taught me the craft and how to respect it and to appreciate it. And
Yeah, if you don't know who Andre Braugher is, in Glory, he was the pussy soldier.
who got nominated?
Yeah, he got nominated, and
that was an
who
Oscar.
kept getting the shit
He's
kicked out of him.
great.
He was best
He's-
friends with
he's
Matthew
great.
Broderick. He was
I
the.
watched that movie about once a year, and his part specifically, him and Denzel Washington were just
Those
so
were my
good
two favorites in
together.
that whole thing.
God, they're good.
I
Matthew
didn't-
Broderick was good, but man, I watch that movie about once a year. I'll buy it or rent it, and it is fucking great.
I thought
Yeah.
Matthew Broderick was okay.
Yeah, but those two guys, Denzel, I mean, they were great.
Yeah.
And Andre's always he's just one of those dudes that so
It's
as
weird
far
to see him on a comedy like that because I feel like
Yeah.
it's such. It sounds terrible. I feel like it's such wasted talent where you're just like, man, he could have been Sterling K. Brown winning fucking Emmys and Golden Globes and Oscars, but he's on a fucking Andy Samberg show.
but I think because they maybe have another year that they'll do that. I know they just did their 200th episode or something like that. So
It's been on a long
it's
fucking
been on for
time.
a long time,
Yeah.
and he's just so talented, and he has his family in New York. I think he's one of those great actors that will just continue to pop up in wonderful films, and
Same.
he's like a Sam Rockwell, right? Who is literally probably
Love
my
Sam
favorite
Rockwell.
actor.
Oh yeah. I had Michael Raymond James on, and I was talking to Mikey, and I was like, dude, you remind me of a Sam Rockwell, where it's just about the work, doesn't really care about the other shit and social media and all that stuff. And
Yeah, look, there's a lot. I mean, Ben Mendelsohn. There's a lot of great actors out there, man.
God,
that
Ben
are just
Mendelsohn
doing
is the
work.
fucking best.
Yo, Ben's
That
been
guy-
doing it forever, man.
Is popping up everywhere, but he is fucking phenomenal.
Yo,
Bloodline?
My man's been famous.
Bloodline-
My man has been famous in Australia for 25 years.
Has he?
Yo, this dude he was one of those guys that just literally kept his middle finger up at all times to Hollywood. I mean, you watch Animal Kingdom and the fact that Joel Edgerton, which
Yeah.
again is a great actor and he's also a great little filmmaker, but the fact that he popped off and Ben just kind of held back because he just didn't care, man.
Well, and that's you said Bloodline. Like I watched.
Yeah.
I binge watched that, and he makes you want to fucking hate him. Like,
He's so good.
he is
so
that
good.
fucking good in it. You're just like, God, this fucking guy is.
I didn't know he was Australian.
Yeah.
I didn't either until you said that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had to
no clue
look
until
him
you
up,
said
and that was even more impressive because most of those fucking guys, like, you bring the Hemsworth and all that shit over here, they do the American accent. You're like,
right.
you can still every other fourth word it's Australian sounding. You're like, come on, bro. Whereas that guy, fuck, man, he is completely.
But
in it.
got. I mean, Australia. I mean, Aiden Young's the same way. Who I did Rectify with. Like, he's just such a great actor. Australia they pump out some great ones, but
yeah,
a lot of those guys they just want to kind of stay out of the system, stay out of the light. They just want to focus on the work.
which is hard to do these days.
As a father of 3 with one in college, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a complete sellout on Fox.
So Ross always shoots on my. I'm a huge Western guy. I grew up in a Western house. I grew up in a Clint Eastwood, John Wayne house. Would you ever do a Western? Ross shot me down yesterday and said they're too expensive.
They're expensive to make.
You have
For
to
me
make 'em,
personally,
but
that's my
they're-
dream. I mean, my granddad only watches the Western Network, right?
Yeah, that's the same with me
Yeah.
at home. When
And
I'm
I
watching
think
movies.
these newer, from like No Country for Old Men, like these modern day westerns are also really great. Hell or High Water.
Oh yeah.
So I think those kind of are taking the place of our old school western, which I'm not opposed to it, but a 3:10 to Yuma. You know, those kind of films, man. And I think even Hostel, I don't know if you guys seen that.
I haven't
that
seen
new
it yet.
film.
I'm dying to see it.
Ben Foster and Christian Bale. Do you want to know why the Oscars are complete fucking bullshit? Hostel's not nominated for anything, but Get Out is nominated for everything. Like you can't watch Get Out. You know what I mean?
Well, the difference is nobody's seen Hostel. Like it didn't. I can't.
And I
even,
guess everyone's seen Get Out, right? Because the young demographic.
It crossed
right?
300 worldwide, and it's like for Hostel, I don't even know how much it made because there is literally hardly any reporting on that
amazing.
fucking that movie's invisible.
And Scott Cooper makes only great films. I mean, I don't know if you know Out of the Furnace and
Yeah.
Crazy Heart.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just such a fantastic filmmaker. So it's sad that the award shows are like our news outlets, and they're just they're driven by agenda, and it's really sad, even with our accolades.
Yeah, because these fucking films that are nominated, like I was real shocked that Get Out was not only Best Picture, Best Director, screenwriting I can see, like but Best Picture, like fuck man, it's just a horror movie. It's just a low budget horror movie. It's shot well and it looks cool.
Again, I think a film like Black Panther is so inspiring.
Did you see it?
I did see the film.
I loved it, man. I fucking saw. I thought it was the best superhero movie I've ever seen.
Outside of the Lexus commercial in the middle of it, I thought it was just. I thought it was.
I noticed that too. It was like
come on, guys. Like I know a lot of money came in from Lexus, but come on.
halfway through, it was right at the halfway point. It was like,
commercial.
hang on, let me drive you there. Oh, Black Panther's got to be driven somewhere in a Lexus, and you're on top of that. Yeah.
Outside of that, and it's like we want everyone to have a superhero to look up to and that kind of thing, But yeah, it's sad to see that politics are just affecting everything.
Have you seen the new Thor?
I'd love
Oh God.
See? He won't watch
his
it.
favorite.
He
Are you
keeps
serious?
making fun of me. I'm like, this is the breakthrough
It might be the greatest superhero movie outside of.
Thank you.
Oh God, he's been waiting for this.
Outside
keep
of the
telling
second
him,
Batman,
it is
might be the greatest superhero film.
The greatest thing about that is you aren't watching a script at that point. You're watching them just talk shit to each other.
You're watching
and
this
it's
concept.
Like, yeah.
And Jeff Goldblum is so amazing.
And that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like a movie at all.
All right, I'll watch this
You
fucking
gotta
thing.
watch
If
it.
you say it's fine, I'll watch this fucking thing. Him, I don't trust. I don't.
And one thing
trust.
about the Black Panther, I think what's great about that is the fact that it was all about the African American movement. What I loved about that film that was not even something that was really televised, or they made a big deal about, was the female in those films. I think they stole the absolute picture.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whoever played the soldier, which I think she's from Walking Dead.
Yes.
She stole that film.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
Dominated.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael B. Jordan was amazing, but those women in that movie were just incredible.
They were great. They knocked it out out of the park across the board. Casting, everything, like
Special effects,
it's
the
just
whole thing. Yeah,
And the thing I enjoyed
it was
the
slow
most.
in the beginning. I felt, but it made up for it on the back end.
Yeah, well, you got to tell that story because let's
I guess
face
that's
it.
what it was, right? Yeah.
Well, everybody,
Creating that world.
all these fucking comic book fans who say they're comic book fans, they didn't buy one goddamn comic book. They know the people. So like for the rest of us who do, like, because I will fully admit I've never read a fucking comic book in my
I
life.
watched the X-Men cartoon.
Yeah,
I watched a lot of cartoons. I read comic books, but I never bought a Thor comic book. I
No.
never bought an Iron Man fucking comic book.
Fuck no.
And I certainly never bought.
I didn't know Black
Green
Panther was a
Lantern.
superhero until they did
I didn't know
it, and
Black
was
Panther
like,
was a superhero.
All right,
either,
cool,
yeah.
and I'll watch it. So like,
I was getting him and the Phantom confused from my grandfather's newspapers.
Yeah,
The-
okay.
The Sunday newspaper would have
Yeah.
like the Phantom, and I was like, "Is that the Black Panther?" So I couldn't. Yeah.
yeah. So when I saw it and they were setting up the world for somebody like me who knows nothing about comic books, at least I was like, all right, here's where they're from,
Yeah.
here's what they're doing and why they're going there. And I didn't mind that slowness because it was telling me the story where everybody else was like, great, let's just get to the fucking.
Everyone was great, and again, I thought it was directed really well. So for as far as superhero movies goes, which I haven't liked the Star Wars outside of what was the one?
Yeah.
The fighter. What was the Rogue? Rogue was a
Rogue, yeah.
All the other ones have been garbage, right?
Yeah.
Would you consider doing a superhero movie?
At this point,
Back the
man,
truck up? Yeah.
Back the truck up.
Is there anyone in particular that you're like, yo, this is one I'd like to
I should
play?
be playing Gambit,
Yes.
Oh!
Thank you. Cajun.
You would kill Gambit.
A little French.
Yes.
Do you have the accent?
Man, look, I'd fuck up that accent, Get me down there with some of those Cajun boy for a minute, and
Yeah,
Yeah, light it up.
That's a great one, actually. And I
would be a
think
great
I think as of today, Channing Tatum is actually attached to Gambit.
Yeah, I know they've been trying to get it going. I think the best one though, I'm really excited to see this Venom. See what Tom Hardy does.
Really?
Oh
Venom?
yeah.
I haven't heard about that.
Tom
Venom,
Hardy
Alex
is playing
Grant's
Venom.
Weekly.
And I'm talking like a $20 million indie style Sony Pictures doing like Marvel film.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
apparently, and they said he puts on a clinic.
Oh, Tom Hardy's one of the best
Look,
there
man,
is.
do you watch Peaky Blinders?
Yeah,
Yeah, he is
when he
fucking
gets on there.
phenomenal.
he's crazy, man.
How does that not get nominated for everything?
I don't know,
Oh,
but he does. He's another one who doesn't do press, barely social media. Like he just started an Instagram maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Perfect. Like, and I'm not a shameless plug here, but
And he was wearing all your
he's
shit.
wearing all our stuff, and I'm just like, how the fuck did that happen?
That's amazing.
But
Yeah.
I mean, just a good dude, and everybody I talk to says he's a good dude. But Peaky Blinders, his fucking part steals the show. Like he
steals the show.
Fucking
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
like just a good dude, really good dude.
Well, we're at that point in the show where we get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week. And again, we've been giving it to our guests. Is there somebody influential or inspirational lately, since you've been on before, and you had a Drinkin' Bro of the Week? Is there somebody else you'd like to give it to that's really helped you along the way? Also, and real quick, before you say it, the cool thing about you, the last one you gave it to was a teacher, I believe. And then you invited her. She was at the fundraiser, and I got to meet her, who was the inspiration for acting and all that other shit.
So I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
I asked you about your Instagram because you were again, I didn't realize that you had a foundation.
Yes.
And
We
you
just
guys
recently
were
started. It's all
you
good.
guys
Yeah.
were together at it, but when I went and researched your foundation, it's pretty heavily. So the Drinking Bros community is a huge vet community, and that's the first thing that popped up on your foundation. The Clayton Crawford Foundation was vets, your grandfathers, your family members. So, man, what is the foundation? So these guys, the Drinking Bros, know.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm not sophisticated enough to have a cause that moves me on a daily basis. For me, I think anyone who just doesn't have an opportunity. So I go to children first, and then women, and then vets. You know, I think that as far as like, I don't like to use the word unfair, but raw deals sometimes. So what I did is I created a foundation that essentially I started within my community, and I'm trying to find other charity groups that are grassroots, that are kind of doing things on their own. So we started with this backpack foundation, and this is ran by my buddy's stepmother and this other lovely lady in this small little town in Moody. And these women are in a garage putting together anywhere from 60 to 250 backpacks full of food, and then drive them around to these different homes for these children. And they're desperately always trying to raise money. So I thought, why not have a beautiful dinner where I can raise money for these guys? And if I can give them, 10 to 30 grand, then my community and the people that I'm inviting to say, hey, come to a charity event, they can actually see their money go somewhere. And I feel like it's best to kind of touch base in your hometown and then kind of let the ripple effect happen and kind of begin to branch out, because I think when you're fortunate enough to make a good living in whatever it is that you love, and we're all of us sitting at this table are affected by that, then you want to help others. And I think the biggest issue is we don't know where our money's going, and we certainly don't want it to go to overhead or to company cars, right? So you want to make sure that we're genuinely helping the individuals who need the help, and that all of the resources are going to them. And so that's why I created a foundation. So I just basically, we're doing a barbecue in May, and we're working with a small little, it's called 3 Hots and a Cot, which is in this small little town of Clay, which I'm from in Alabama. And they are essentially giving vets and their families, helping them get back on their feet and get health care and help them have job placement. And so those guys are struggling out there. So we're going to do a barbecue and try to have some music come out and donate the money to them. And also we're working with a small music group who this gentleman works by himself, and he's trying to help children with autism overcome their disability with the power of music. And he's completely strapped financially. So we've chosen those two as our targets for this benefit dinner. And yeah, we just kind of move on from there, and we're open to any ideas. And the website, please, anyone kind of go on and say, this is my favorite organization, and they're struggling in X town, and we'll see if we can't throw them on our list and try to raise money for them.
And that's ClaytonCrawfordFoundation.com, right?
.org, yeah.
Or
.org,
sorry.
yeah. And the last one was, which was your first one, was a smashing success. It was packed. Everybody was wonderful. Actually, you want to give the Drinking Bro of the Week to Goose's mom?
I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
And look, we're fortunate, right? This I think that's the one thing about doing, the show is that it affords me the opportunity to use this kind of this bleep of fame to kind of raise money for these guys. So I think that's kind of been our main target. So let's give it to her.
Yeah, Mrs. Gossett.
Yeah. No. This is horrible.
She have a different last name?
Well, I just call her Goose's mama.
That's what we call it
in
too,
Alabama, we call everybody mama, right?
Yeah, that's it. Same in Georgia, where it's just like, oh yeah, it's Goose's mama.
She'd never listen to this, so it doesn't matter. The thought's all that counts.
Yeah, exactly. We'll keep it with Goose's mom.
The backpack program.
Yeah, exactly.
When you fuckers listen and know how much of an asshole I am and I'm angry and I wanted to hate Lethal Weapon because I'm a huge Mel Gibson Lethal Weapon fan, but if you haven't watched the TV show, fucking watch it. It's good.
And it is literally one of your favorites.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge TV guy. I like westerns, but
he's burnt from TV, but he's not a huge TV guy.
Yeah.
It's not too late to say it, JT. I'll get up and walk out of this fucking podcast.
It is too late to say it because we're all going to get up and walk out of this podcast. Clayton Crawford, thank you for being here. For Jared Taylor, Bert Koontz, I'm Ross Patterson. Good night, everyone.